Hello, I am Wallace, the Polish toy guy, and for some reason YouTube convinced people to watch my old Softimus Prime and Slumblebee review again, which is giving my channel a nice new boost. So seeing that these toys were classified as part of Transformers Classics, today I want to review something that's also from TF Classics, and that is coming from the very first wave of that toy line, Deluxe Decepticon Starscream. Oh, good memories. This was not only my very first Classics toy, but also the first toy I got after I took my last high school exams. I got this toy when I was in Dubrovnik, Croatia, because my parents took me to a drive-around trip to Croatia after I was done with my high school. And that was what I found in one of the local toy shops. And like many toys I buy in tourist places, it was slightly overpriced for my tastes, but again, very first toy from Classics, and at the time I was hyped about this line. So of course I snatched it and I do not regret it today. As you can see, this is a fairly long deluxe class toy and still transforms into the good old F-15 fighter jet. Not perfectly matched because we have some changes for the robot mode and Starscream the character, but still it works, and mold-wise this is a very nice looking fighter plane. And the color scheme is also quite nice. Yes, I know not everyone likes that, it's not completely matched to the Starscream Generation 1 version archetype, but I like this. Classics was designed to reiterate generational characters, but not being 100% accurate, and I appreciated that change at the time, and today maybe slightly less, but I still like to look at this toy. We have this nice red over the grey hull with some blue streaks, no Generation 1 pun intended, as well as the rub sign, a trademark of Generation 1 that came back with Classics. You put something warm on it and it reveals the true identity of your character. And what do you know, Starscream is Decepticon. I'm happy this still works on this toy. Not every Classics figure I have still has this running properly. And this is hard rubber, so chances of you getting hurt by this are lowered. And we have translucent cockpit with some nice pilot, seat and console details. Quite nice. We have some thruster nozzle details. We have the classic null rays under the wings, as well as the majority of the robot. And yes, this was an upgrade over Generation 1 toy, the second one, because if I recall correctly, this was released sometime after the Japan exclusive Robot Master Starscream, and around the same time Masterpiece Starscream version 1 was designed. And I think in most cases it worked, but there are some things that I don't like about this toy. Let's remove the null rays to show that, because we can do that, and no, there's no right way of putting these on, whether you want to have these details facing this way, or perhaps this way, all a matter of preference. And of course, that fires nicely, so that's good. Also, thing I did not like, though it kind of is another mixed bag, the landing gear. Over here it's integrated into part of the feet, so it's non-moving, and over here it's sharing the same role with these turbines that go into Starscream's chest. And on one hand, yes, you can close this up, but still not the preferred option for me. I would like to have a normal, regular, accurate landing gear in front of the plane, but still, that is a way to make this sit on the ground without toppling. So I guess any solution, even if it's a half solution, is better than no solution at all. But that's about it in terms of my nitpicking for this mode. Overall, despite these things I just talked about, I like this fighter form. It's nice, it's presentable. We did not have any adapter points for action stands then, so if you want to make it airborne you have to improvise, but still, it's a nice looking jet mode overall in my opinion. And because this toy does nothing else that I haven't shown already in this mode, let's go for comparisons and then transform it. So here we have two other Starscream. On your right we have the Robots in Disguise Deluxe/Warrior class Starscream, and on your left we have the Voyager class Starscream from the movie Studio Series line. And for something that is not a Starscream, on your left we have Voyager class Nitro Zeus from Transformers 5 The Last Night, and on your right we have from Macross High Metal R, a typical VF1S mold, in this case Mesa, or shall I say 35th anniversary custom. And with that said, I think we can now safely transform Starscream into his robot mode, which is going to be a simple and quick process.
First we have to detach the null rays again. And now we can collapse the rear stabilizers. And I think since the last time I did it, over here I got a new stress mark. I hope I am wrong. But still, going back to the topic, we now grab the wings and flip them around on this double hinge. And as you can see, there's a small hole over here that responds to a very small round protrusion in the wing. And this will allow us to separate the front and the back of the jet. So now we grab that, we pull it out. Now we get our hands on the vertical stabilizers. And also using the same mechanism, put them back over here. I wonder when this paint over here will finally chip off, because I've transformed this toy tens, maybe hundreds of times since I got it. And now we can flip down the feet. And the legs are pretty much done until we separate them, but now we can get our hands on the back of the jet as well as on the nose, and we grab the nose and lift this whole section up along with the wings. And now this is how this toy differs mostly from the Robot Masters version, which took the arms from the inside of this bit, whereas this is more like the Masterpiece vibe, where they are deployed from the sides of the robot mode. So now we swing these out on these small hinges with a nice single jump. We can also flip the wrists out and the hands using this small notch inside the base of the wrist. Yes, and also yes on this side. Still quite tight after all these years, that's nice. And now we can click down this whole section using this hook that goes into the top of this element. And now we can swing this around like this. And now there's a second hinge over here that we loosen up. And now we collapse the front of the jet along this path. So this hinge covers its own self up. And now we can close this down again. This looks quite interesting. But now we can also flip this down, break the cockpit. And using this double hinge attached to Starscream's head, we flip all of this down behind his head. And now we can flip in his landing gear. For cosmetics, bend his elbows, separate his legs, and reattach the null rays to complete Starscream's transformation
into humanoid form. And in my opinion, after 13 years, Starscream is a great display piece and a decent toy, and seeing that this is a review, in a moment I will tell you why I think so. Let's start with the good bits. The first one is, this is a nice looking Starscream. Maybe the proportions are not perfect, but yes, this is definitely a Generation 1 Seeker, and this is definitely a Starscream. Especially both with the shapes and his color scheme, which yes, still is a bit of a deviation from his regular colors in terms of layout and stuff, but still you can tell this is a Starscream and a nice looking Starscream. The red paint is quite nice, again with some orange yellow accents in the intakes. We have some blue in the plastic that looks really vibrant all these years after. Some yellow paint over here, again blue plastic, I really like it. And this works quite well with the grey on this toy, both painted into something close to silver or maybe even silver, and the normal non-painted grey. So this is a nice display piece from the front, and from the back it's not all that messy compared to some other Transformers. Yes, we have bits of the jet over here, we have some fins, but it's nothing all that bad. I have to say I like how the canopy of the jet hides to form Starscream's signature chest detail, and yes, the landing gear now looks way better than in jet mode. Unfortunately, the way this toy transforms means that Starscream's head has this stuck to its back, and that is bad for the posability, as Starscream's head can turn a bit, enough that he can look sideways to make his pose cooler, but not enough to actually get past this point, which may be not to everyone's tastes. And while we are on the topic of the head, it's shaped nicely, painted black, so like a Starscream should, with red eyes, no light piping with that on the back. But unfortunately, the problem is this face is not painted, it's just your normal grey plastic, which unfortunately is dull, and due to how it interacts with light, it means from distances you can have problems with telling apart details of Starscream's face. From this length, it may be a blob, and I don't like that, especially that later uses of this mold painted the face, eliminating this problem, but over here it is annoying, and Starscream's face is legible only from short distances. Also, things I don't like is that the null rays, while look nice because I like big weapons on toys and robots, their size and their connection method means that Starscream's posability is, well, you can see it basically stopped. You can move the arms up, but the null rays stay down, which means that if he wants to betray someone, that someone better be close to the ground. Unless he decides his wings can tilt back, then we have no problem with that. Both like that and like that, but yes, seeing that the posability works well without the signature elements of Starscream attached is slightly bothering. And we have elbows, where we are on this topic. Nice elbows. I don't know if you can call the transformation of the wrists posability, but it's there. We've seen the head, no waist due to the transformation. We have a decent kick forward for the legs and hips. We have a full split, which is great. And kick backward, well, the transformation strikes again. But we have knees, 90-degree knees, though they have two-position jump on something that's not really a ratchet, but something that's quite popular nowadays, I think. And also we have a swivel below the knee, something I don't like. I prefer my leg swivel to be in the thighs, so above the joint, but oh well. Many toys from that era were haunted by this, and Starscream is not the worst case. And we have the feet, which can move due to the transformation, but that's about it. But with these elements on the inner side of the leg, Starscream can still stand pretty well even at large displays. As long as the ball joints in his hips can work with that, you are safe. So I'd say the posability is decent for a Deluxe class of 2006. It's not spectacular like some other toys released time after that, but it gets the job done to a workable degree. Also, I like how Starscream passes the high kick test, which is something that not every Transformer I own can handle. And this is also probably the best pose if you want to angle your null rays higher than what you've seen before. Still works like a dream. And as you can see, Starscream's hands have 5mm radius holes in them, so combining with the attachment points on the shoulders and on the wings, it means if you want to give Starscream a Rambo mode, he can take from 6 to 8 weapons at once. And depending on what weapons you have available, the Rambo mode can look, for example, like this. And now it's time for robot mode comparisons, so let's start with a few Starscreams. Over here, Voyager from Revenge of the Fallen, and over here, First Edition Deluxe from Transformers Prime. And in this picture, we have Deluxe from Energon and Voyager from Animated. And for something modern that is not a Starscream, here we have Deluxe Wolfwire from Transformers Titan's Return and Deluxe Blackwing from Transformers Power of the Primes. And for real life objects, here we have the common cola can, and $1 American. To sum it all up, like I said, Transformers Classics Deluxe Starscream is a great looking collectible piece and a decent toy that could have aged a bit better, because while I have no issues with this toy on my shelf, I do have some when I want to play with it and pose it, as some of the design choices were not all that good 13 years afterwards in retrospect. Yes, it has some nice engineering, some of the ideas for the transformation are nice, but of course over the years some of these ideas were perfected and Starscream would greatly benefit from having them today. Also, I think there are better uses of this mold, for example my beloved Generations Thundercracker and the cone heads that were redesigned from this are also nice, but still, if you want to have a different color pattern on this toy, there are really huge amounts of toys to select from. And that's all for this video review. I will be back with the next one soon, and until then, stay well. Polish Toy Guy signing out. Thank you for watching.